Connor might be rude to his sister in Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage episode 16, but the episode still allows young Sheldon's spin-off to show a new, sensitive side of Emily Osment's Mandy. Young Sheldon's follow-up Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage is primarily concerned with the relationship between its title characters. Georgie and Mandy were happily married when young Sheldon's final took place, but The Big Bang Theory Season 11, Episode 13, The Sibling Realignment, revealed that the couple eventually divorced some time later. Now it is up to Georgie and Mandy's first marriage to explain this breakup. If a sitcom focusing on an eventual, inevitable breakup sounds sad, it is worth noting that Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage also has Mandy's colorful family as its supporting stars. Many of Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage episodes focus on the family's auto shop where Georgie works with his father-in-law Jim, as well as his relationships with the rest of Mandy's family. Occasionally, this provides viewers with new insights into Mandy herself. In episode 16, Goddess of the Music Store, Georgie helps Connor get a date with Chloe, a singer from the music store upon whom he has a crush. The goofy, tactless Connor's overtures prove unexpectedly successful, and he ends up bringing his new love interest back to his place at the end of the evening. Of course, since Connor shares his home with his family, Mandy inevitably sees Chloe leaving the next morning. Mandy advises Connor not to take things too quickly with his new paramour, prompting an unintentionally brutal response. Connor insults Mandy's life choices in Goddess of the Music Store, when Mandy's brother uses his trademark bluntness to dismiss her fears. When Mandy expresses concern about the two moving too fast, he reassures his sister that he's not ready to have a child and ruin his life like Mandy. This moment proves that Mandy shares Georgie's sibling problem, as both characters struggle to empathize with awkward, tactless younger brothers. However, Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage doesn't necessarily set up a repeat of The Big Bang Theory's tragic Georgie/Sheldon story. For all their struggles, Mandy and Connor seem less likely to end up estranged than Georgie and Sheldon. Not only are they friendly, but Connor brings out a softness in Mandy that viewers rarely see otherwise. Mandy has historically been portrayed as a tough character with a tendency to strong-arm people, including Georgie, but this exchange proves she cares about Connor's future. Like Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage's Mimo, Mandy can come across as cold and uncaring at times. The same qualities that make her tough and resilient can make her seem petty and stubborn in some situations, as highlighted in Episode 8, Diet Crap. This outing saw Mandy become insecure over making less money than Georgie, only to become angry at him when he tried to help her sell the multi-level marketing fair she had purchased. Mandy's refusal to take Georgie's help gracefully, combined with her original insecurity, creates a picture of a character who can be thoughtless and dismissive unless she is in control. However, Goddess of the Music Store proves that Mandy really cares about her brother's happiness and worries about his future. For all of her toughness and apparent disregard for others, Mandy has a soft spot for Connor. That said, Connor is still closer to Georgie and the rest of his family. The primary reason that Connor is so close to Georgie, rather than his biological family, is that Georgie has a lot of experience with eccentric siblings. Connor is arguably less challenging than Sheldon in this regard, as he is less obstinate and argumentative. For Audrey, Jim, and Mandy, Connor is much more offbeat than them, so he is treated as the black sheep of the family. For Georgie, he is much easier to get along with than his own brother, so Georgie swiftly develops a fondness for Connor. It doesn't hurt that Connor also follows his advice. While Connor is undoubtedly odd, Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage's Sheldon replacement looks up to Georgie. Sheldon rarely took Georgie's advice, and even decades later in The Big Bang Theory, often dismissed his older brother as a mouth-breather and a moron. In contrast, Connor appreciates Georgie and thanks him for his advice in outings like Goddess of the Music Store and Episode 7, An Old Mustang. Connor's kindness toward Georgie results in Georgie having more time for him in Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage, creating one of the young Sheldon spin-off's best friendships. Enjoy Screen Rant's primetime coverage? Click below to sign up for our weekly Network TV newsletter. Make sure to check Network TV in your preferences and get the inside scoop from actors and showrunners on your favorite series. Episode 16 of Georgie and Mandy's first marriage took an emotional detour into the past this week, peeling back the layers of a strained sibling relationship that's been hinted at all season. As the young couple tries to build a stable life for their new family, it's Connor, Mandy's mysterious brother, who finally steps into the spotlight and turns their world upside down with one jaw-dropping confession. In this poignant, surprising, and deeply human episode, the truth behind Mandy's complicated bond with her brother is laid bare, and it changes everything. From the moment Connor shows up unexpectedly at the house, the tension is undeniable. Mandy stiffens, a smile tight and eyes wary. Georgie, eager to make a good impression, invites him in with typical Southern hospitality, but the air crackles with unspoken history. It's not long before the episode dives headfirst into the emotional landmine that is Mandy and Connor's past. Mandy hasn't talked much about her brother before. Viewers knew that they were estranged, that something painful that happened years ago, but this is the first time we truly get to see them interact. And what starts as a polite but awkward reunion quickly spirals into a raw emotional confrontation that unearths long-buried resentment and regret. Georgie, ever the well-meaning mediator, tries to smooth things over with jokes and iced tea, but it's clear he's out of his depth. Connor is charismatic but guarded. His smile doesn't quite reach his eyes, and every compliment is laced with something unsaid. It's Mandy who finally breaks the silence, confronting her brother about why he's really there. "You don't just drop in after 6 years unless you want something," she says, her voice shaking, not with fear, but with fury. What comes next is the emotional core of the episode. Connor doesn't deny it, he does want something. But it's not money and it's not help, it's forgiveness. Through flashbacks and a tearful confession, Connor finally explains what tore them apart. Their childhood wasn't the picture-perfect middle-class dream Mandy used to describe in passing. Behind closed doors, their family life was fractured. Their father's anger, their mother's silence, the constant instability, it shaped them in very different ways. While Mandy chose to escape by forging a new path, Connor fell into a spiral of bad decisions. "I didn't protect you," Connor says, his voice barely a whisper. "I should have. I was your big brother, but I was too angry, too selfish, and I let you carry it all alone." It's a gut punch of a moment. Suddenly, Mandy's fierce independence and perfectionism make sense. She wasn't just running toward something, she was running away. One of the episode's most striking scenes is when Connor pulls out a small, beat-up cigarette box from his coat pocket. Inside, a handful of old photos and a note written in a child's scrawl. It's from Mandy, written when she was just 11. "Connor, please come back. I miss you." The note stops Mandy cold. It's a visceral reminder of the love they once shared, the bond that existed before life got so messy. It's also the first time Georgie realizes just how deeply wounded his wife still is from her past. He doesn't say anything, he just holds her hand. Interestingly, while Mandy wrestles with her emotions, Connor and Georgie have a few quiet moments alone that say just as much. Georgie asks the hard questions. Why now? What's the real reason he came back? Connor admits that he saw the birth announcement in the paper and realized just how much of life he was missing out on. "I never got to see Mandy happy before, and now she has this life, this family. I guess I wanted to see if there was still a place for me in it." It's a line that lingers, especially when Georgie later tells Mandy, "He wants to be your brother again, but only you get to decide if he can be." The episode ends on a deliberately ambiguous note. After hours of talking, crying, and uncomfortable truths, Mandy walks Connor to the door. They share a quiet moment. No promises, no dramatic reunion, but a small gesture that says more than words. She gives him a photo of her daughter. "If you want to know her, you start by knowing me," she says. And that means showing up. For real this time. Connor nods. He doesn't push. He simply says, "I'm ready to try." And just like that he walks away, but not out of her life. Not anymore. Episode 16 is a masterclass in emotional storytelling. It peels back the layers of a secondary character like Connor and reveals how integral he is to understanding Mandy.